Okay, so welcome to Anatomy and Physiology. This is a hybrid course that is going to be meeting on Mondays from 5:30 to 6:45. The way the spring schedule was set up, they have the start date on a Tuesday. However, I wanted to go ahead and give you an overview of what's going on so you can get started on some stuff this week. So this is our course layout, and how I have it set up is by modules. Each module is represented by a different lecture exam or the cumulative final. All the materials that you need for each lecture exam are going to be published at one time. So if you start with the first module up here, the important information where it says start here, this is where you can find the course syllabus, the course schedule, and a link to the Pearson e-text. So let's just go ahead and go over the syllabus a little bit. So this is a 3-credit, again, hybrid course. We meet on Mondays. Our location is shown to you here. Our meeting times from 5:30 to 6:45. I'm not going to read all of this stuff to you. It kind of gives you a little bit of what the expectations are for this course as well as the outcomes. This is a continuation of Anatomy and Physiology 1. So there are some required materials, even though it might state otherwise on the website. You are going to be required to purchase the e-text. You can get the access code in the bookstore or purchase it directly from the Pearson website itself. So evaluative criteria, the grading scale is your typical scale. 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, and so on and so forth. I don't have in here 89.99 is a B. So if you're in the 89%, 79 point something percent, 69 point something percent, this is what I refer to as a gray area. So at the end of the semester, if you have an 89.7, I can work with you. If you have an 89.3, I could work with you a little bit. However, we can't move grades beyond 1%. So only if you fall within that gray area could we potentially move you to the grade above. So this is the course grading categories. We have lecture exams, assignments, and then you have a project. The lecture exams, you're going to have 4 unit exams. They cover different amount of chapters per exam. So because there's a different number of chapters in each exam, the value of the point value of each exam is going to be different. So your first lecture exam is going to cover 4 chapters. So this is the exam with the most chapters on it. So the lecture exam is going to be worth more points, about 150 points. The remainder exams will have 3 chapters on them. And because they have 3 chapters, there's not going to be worth 150 points because there's less material. They can be worth anywhere between 110 to 120 points, somewhere around there. There's also a cumulative final that is going to be worth 100 points. You are provided a study guide for the cumulative final, and each one of the bullet points, 50 bullet points on the study guide, represents what one of the questions is going to ask you on the cumulative final. So if you do the study guide, you should be fairly successful on the cumulative final. So while there are 5 total exams, 4 unit exams, and 1 cumulative final, your lowest exam will be dropped. I know they are weighted differently because of the point value that each exam represents. Canvas will automatically drop the exam that brings down your grade more. So at the end of this semester, after the cumulative final has been taken, that's when I will go in and implement the lowest exam grade drop, because there's always been confusion in the past. If I implement the drop exam grade during this semester, people don't have a true representation of what their exam grade is. With that being said, if you take all 4 unit exams and you have an A in the class, you do not need to take the cumulative final. So that's an incentive to be successful in the 4 unit exams. So you would just have a 0 placed in for your cumulative final as a grade if you opted not to take it, and that would be the exam grade that is dropped at the end. When we're talking about assignments, that's worth, again, 20% of your grade. This is a couple of different things in this category. So there are chapter assignments that are linked to the mastering through Pearson, through our textbook, which is why you are required to have this textbook and the access code for this course. There's a couple of discussion boards, which I'll point out to you when we get to that section, and the point value varies for everything. And there's also a couple of worksheets. Anytime I give you a worksheet, I made the worksheet myself, which means that information that's on that worksheet is really useful for when studying for your exams. 5% of your grade is a project, and again, I'll show you that in just a second, where you're going to pick any disease or disorder of your choice and do a project on that. And that's 100 points, but again, it's 5% of your grade. When you are doing the Pearson assignments and activities, sometimes there's a delay in getting the grade from Pearson synced over to Canvas, so it might show that you haven't completed it, or you might only have like 2 points out of the possible 24 points. So just give it some time. Sometimes it'll take up to 24 hours in order to get your entire grade synced over. Another thing is, when you are starting the Pearson assignments, you do not have to complete it all in one sitting. You can start it and come back to it, 3-4 days later, even a week later, and go in and complete it. Just be aware that whatever points that you've accumulated so far in that assignment will automatically be synced over to Canvas. So if you only get through 4 points worth of the assignment, 4 is going to show up in the grade book, and then once you complete that assignment, the full point value will transfer over. You do have 2 attempts on the Pearson assignment, so if you didn't do very well, or you're rushed or just ready to get it over with and you scored low, you can go in and complete the Pearson assignment again, and the gradebook will record your highest grade. So attendance is mandatory. We only have 13 meetings this semester, so that's not terrible. And again, I'll point out why when we hit the course schedule in a second. So I don't accept any late work as far as excuses go, no matter what the excuse is, because all of the Pearson assignments and worksheets and everything is available to you and open now. You have plenty of time to complete everything. The assignments are due the night before your lecture exam, so at 11:59 p.m. the night before, so you have plenty of time to get all of this stuff done. In the event that you missed it, something came up, or you forgot, Pearson and Canvas will automatically implement a 15% grade penalty per day late. So again, you don't need to email me. Just go in, complete the assignment, even if you missed it, even if it was 2 days late, and you'll just receive that grade penalty in the grade book. So here's a little bit about our lecture exam breakdown. Again, there are 4 lecture exams. The first lecture exam is going to contain 4 chapters, while the remainder contain 3 chapters. These are the dates of the exam. You need to make sure that you are present in class, and you will have the entire lecture period of our meeting in order to complete it. They are a mixture. Most of it is multiple choice. You could also see some true or false, although rare, and maybe some short answer. You'll definitely see a little bit of short answer, and some matching possibly. And the cumulative final, which is down here at the bottom, this is showing you what chapters are covered. So the cumulative final is really only going to be on lecture exams 1 through 3, those chapters and that material, because you would have just tested on lecture exam 4, which would have been 2 days prior to when your final exam is. Another thing I want to point out is the way Hillsborough Community College works is that you are given a final exam day and time. With our meeting day at 5:30 on Mondays, the scheduled final exam time and day is Wednesday, April 30th. So that is a day that we don't normally meet. So please make sure that you're able to make accommodations so you can be present if you intend to take the cumulative final. So the cumulative final is Wednesday, April 30th at 5:30 p.m. Okay. Academic honesty, don't cheat, anything like that. I don't care if you work together on the Pearson assignments, worksheets, anything else, but all lecture exams are going to be closed book, closed notes, no cheating, no anything like that. When you're taking the lecture exam, in class. Again, it's going to be on paper, and you need to purchase Scantrons from the bookstore. Make sure that you don't have any hats on, no headphones can be on, sunglasses, things like that. Most of the materials that are uploaded to Canvas are going to be in PDF format, and you are able to download them, print them out, or if you use some sort of tablet or iPad, you can download them to write on using whatever app that you want. The other stuff that's in here is really just a requirement from HCC, so you can go in and take a look at that, but I'm not going to read it to you. Okay, so like I said, the best way to get to all the information is to go to the modules, because that's how I have this course set up. So we just went through the syllabus, and now I'm going to walk you through the course schedule. So this is our course schedule from 5:30 to 6:45 p.m. on Mondays. Our first meeting is January 13th. Because the school is starting on a Tuesday, January 7th, we didn't get a meeting day the first week, which is why you are getting this video kind of walking you through the course, what we would have done if we had met. Because it's hybrid, there is going to be fast paced, because again, we only have 13 meetings, and you are going to be responsible for a lot of this material at home. So what I've given you is 2 columns, one of which we're going to cover while we're in class on Monday from 5:30 to 6:45, and the other component is what you need to be working on at home. So how this course is going to be set up is that, yes, you need to know everything that's in my PowerPoints for all of the chapters, but when we meet on our meeting day and time, I'm going to cover the most difficult stuff. So things that are basic memorization, I'll kind of just fly through those slides when we meet. Say, hey, make sure you know the functions of these cells, make sure you know this pathway, so on and so forth, something that's simple and easy memorization. And then the harder physiology concepts are what we're going to really cover from that chapter when we meet. So my recommendation to you is to kind of gone through the PowerPoints and read the chapter prior to our meeting. Now, anything, your textbook, your stock PowerPoints that come from Pearson are about 400 slides per chapter. Okay, I've narrowed these slides down to 100 or so. Some might only have like 70 slides, some might have like 140 slides. But what I have in my slides are the information that I expect you to know for the lecture exam. Your textbook is an excellent resource. A lot of students do not like to read their textbook. I highly recommend you read your textbook, but not to go in and take a bunch of notes. If you read your textbook, say you study the slides and you're like, I'm still confused. If you go in and just read your textbook just to read it, again, not to like memorize anything or take a bunch of notes, it'll help tie some of these concepts together that are kind of written to you in short format on the PowerPoints. So when our first meeting, I'll redo a little small introduction. I'll run through the syllabus very quickly because that's the intention of this video. And then we'll go right into the hard physiology from chapter 17 and so on and so forth. Also on here, I have the dates that we have no meetings. So January 20th, the college is closed because of Martin Luther King Day, so we have no meeting. Another downfall to having this class on a Monday is that on March 3rd, we also have no meeting because the college is closed for the Strawberry Festival. And then you have spring break where the college is closed and we don't meet either. So really, we only have 13 meetings, and I highly recommend that you make sure that you're able to come to all of these. There may be bonus opportunities available to students who do come as well. So like I mentioned, all assignments are going to be due at the Sunday night before our lecture exam. So the first set of assignments are going to be due Sunday, February 9th at 11:59 p.m. and then so on and so forth, with 2 exceptions. So the introduction discussion board, which I'll show you in a second, and the syllabus quiz, these are going to be due a week from tomorrow, if you're watching this today. So they're due Monday, January 13th. And the reason for this is because we don't have a meeting this week. This is basically your confirmation in your attendance so that you don't get dropped from this class. So make sure you take the syllabus quiz and complete the introduction by Monday, January 13th at 11:59. That is the same night as our first meeting in class. Okay, so just a really quick overview of the project. It's not meant to be difficult and it's not meant to be stressful. It's meant to be informational and kind of fun. So here's your project overview. If you click on that, it's just a page of kind of your expectation. You need to make a PowerPoint on whatever disease, condition, or disorder that you choose. It does need to be relevant to a system that we've studied in AMP2. And this is AMP1, but I will change that. So things that we cover are like the cardiovascular system, the endocrine system. We cover the urinary system. We cover the reproductive system. So any disease, condition, or disorder related to one of those systems would be great. So something to avoid would be something like skin cancer because you covered the integumentary system in AMP1. So try to make it relevant to this. I always suggest that like if you yourself have a disease, condition, or one of your family members or friends, it makes it more interesting to do the project on it if you can relate to somebody who may possibly have this. So you just need at least 10 slides. It's going to be a recorded presentation. So you can do a screen recording like I'm doing right now, or like my lecture recordings are set up as. Or you can include your face, whatever format that you want to do it in. So 8 to 12 minutes is kind of the expectation if you have covered all the topics that you want. If you complete everything that's on the checklist that I'm about to show you, it's a really easy 100%, and 100% grade within a 5% of your grading category can actually be pretty significant in your overall grade. So there are 2 assignment dates for this. You have to have your presentation uploaded to the discussion board. This is going to be due Wednesday, April 16th. It is open now, so if you wanted to complete it next weekend, you're more than welcome to. And the second part of the project is to view and comment on 2 other students' projects. So you need to watch their presentation and make 2 thoughtful comments, not just like good presentation, something that indicates that you actually watched their presentation. And that's going to be due April 20th. So the discussion board originally is going to be due on the 16th for the presentation upload, and then you have 4 days after that to go in and watch the presentations. So here's the project grading rubric. You can go in and see how I'll grade this as I watch each one. Again, really simple. It doesn't have to be anything specific. Just cover the disease name, give a little bit of introduction, a description about it, some signs and symptoms, causes or transmission, treatment, prevention, history, and interesting facts. I love interesting facts. So if you can give like somebody famous who might have it or something like that. Presentation, make it look decent, incorporate some pictures, images, things like that. And then you get some points for just your oral presentation of the disease itself. And then right here, it's showing you where you're going to upload your presentation. And again, reminds you that you also need to make 2 comments on other students' presentations. Okay, so that's the syllabus, the schedule, and the project overview. So I have, like I mentioned before, modules set up per lecture exam. I don't do weekly modules because I find it frustrating. So what's published now is lecture exam 1. So everything that you need for lecture exam 1, you can go in and work on now. As soon as we get closer to the end of lecture exam 1 material, I'll publish lecture exam 2, so on and so forth. So the first little header up here says PowerPoints and lectures. If you click on this, it's a PDF of the PowerPoint presentation. This is the same PowerPoint that is going to be walked through similar to what I'm doing right here when we're covering each chapter. So you can also click on the Chapter 17 playlist. These are lecture videos that I made that correspond to the PowerPoint. You don't have to watch them. They're just their supplemental material. It is hybrid, so I wanted to put something in there because, again, we're not going to be able to cover everything. So there's one for each one of the 4 chapters that we're going to be covering in Lecture Exam 1. We do go out of order in this class. If you're taking my online lab, it will follow this same order. So we would do 17 and 21 and then 18 and 19 because this is how I feel it flows best with the concepts that we're learning. So that's all the materials that you need there. The next header is going to be assignments. So this is going to give you all of your assignments that are going to be due at 11:59 p.m. the night before our lecture exam. So the introduction to class I mentioned is for attendance verification. You can go ahead and complete that. It's kind of giving you an overview. I ask that you include a picture of yourself, and that's not for anything like weird. That's just so later on, I have a lot of students. I teach 10 different classes at 2 different colleges, so I can help learn your name. So I might forget your name, but then I can look at the discussion board and see your picture and your name, and then I can go from there. Just a little bit about yourself, what you like about anatomy, physiology. My introduction and background is that I have a bachelor's in biomedical science, and then I have 2 master's degrees. I have one in microbiology with a concentration in cell science and biochemistry, and I also have a master in pharmaceutical chemistry, both from the University of Florida. So I really, really like science. I'm really thankful to be here and be your instructor for this course. So you would put something similar to that there. The syllabus quiz is here as well. Just basically, it's simple. You get 2 attempts. It's not meant to be tricky. It's just kind of to make sure that you understand that we have, 4 unit exams and a cumulative final, that your lowest exam grade is dropped, so on and so forth. Don't cheat, things like that. Down here below the syllabus quiz is where you're going to see your Pearson assignments. So Introduction to Mastering is your first Pearson assignment. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this one in order to sync your course to Pearson. If you are using an iPad like I am right now, you have to go in and turn off your pop-ups and setting in order for it to populate or sync you to the Pearson website. So I'm already synced to Pearson, so you would get prompted to create a Pearson account if you've never created one before. It's free. If you have a Pearson account that's linked to your HCC courses, it will automatically take you there. So you can either purchase an access code from the HCC bookstore, or you can go in and purchase an access code directly when prompted to do so through the Pearson website. So that's the easiest way to get connected to Pearson, is by clicking on that first mastering assignment. Then you have some other assignments. Some of them I broke up into 2 different categories just because I didn't want it to be crazy long. So for chapter 21, you do have 2 parts, an A and a B. 18, and we have chapter 18 worksheets. This is an assignment bonus. I'll give you a hard copy of this at our first lecture meeting, but this is a chapter 18 workbook that should help you with the cardiovascular system. And again, these worksheets I made myself, so it's really meant to kind of help walk you through it. So this is worth assignment bonus points, just some background information of things that you should have learned from A&P 1. You're going to see especially the action potentials with depolarization, repolarization, and hyperpolarization. It's going to come back to you again in the cardiovascular system when we talk about pacemaker cells and contractile cells. So this is just kind of like a refresher for you, and some pathways and things like that. Again, optional because I know this is very large, and it's worth assignment bonus points. So you'll have till February 9th to get all of those in, which is a pretty significant amount of time because our first lecture exam isn't until February 10th. So you have a month to get all this stuff done, and it might seem overwhelming, but I mean, when you realize how much time you have to do it, it's not as bad. The next header says supplemental material. So these are things that I have for you. It's not worth any points. It's not required. But when you hit the cardiovascular cycle or the cardiac cycle in chapter 18 and you're lost, I made most students, or some students are lost during this. So I made a supplemental video that kind of just really covers and really walks you back through the cardiac cycle. So that link is there for you. I write a lot, so on these videos, and I don't want you to waste time writing down everything that I say on these supplemental videos. So I did provide a PDF of what I walk through in the video as I'm explaining it, so you don't have to go in and waste time writing that down. There's also blood flow cards, which I'll explain to you in class. Heart conduction cards. These are like printable cards that you can print out and cut to help understand and match things together. Students tend to like that, and a cardiac output table as well. Every exam module is going to have an exam 1 questions. Because we only meet once a week, you might come up with a question about something that you're covering. So you can put, it's not worth any points and it's not required, but you can post any questions that you might have, or say you found a resourceful YouTube video that helped explain something perfectly. You can post any type of that material here, and then hopefully another student will answer it, but if not, I'll go in and check periodically and answer your questions as well, at least before the first lecture exam or each of the exams. So like I said, each lecture exam is going to be worth a different amount of points depending on how many questions are in it. So the first one is 150 points. There will be a lecture exam guide, but I am redoing and modifying the lecture exam. So once I get that written, which should be by this Sunday, I will go in and have a guide up for you before our first meeting next Monday. So that's basically the setup, and every lecture exam is the same going forward. So, and I'll walk you through. You have your PowerPoints and lectures, your assignments. See, there's much less for the next lecture exam, which probably makes you happy. Supplemental material, exam questions, lecture exam 2, so on and so forth. So the biggest thing is to make sure that you purchase the Scantrons from the bookstore. You'll need 5 of them, and I believe they come in packs of 5 from the bookstore, and a number 2 pencil on exam day. Make sure you get your Pearson account set up. Let me know at our first course meeting if you're unable to do that. I can help walk you through that. Okay, everybody, I will see you on our first class meeting